Welcome to the podcast. Are we back? Rap and TAT podcast.
This is Rap and TAT podcast.
Come get your greasy green from OG Poppy at the candy shop. It's the only thing you want to put on your new ink.
Which tattoo was the most meaningful to you and why?
Did you hear what they said on Rap and TAT podcast? The Candy Shop Tattoo Studio. The hottest tattoo shop, period. Oh,
This is Rap and TAT podcast.
Oh, this your boy OG Poppy. Welcome to another episode of Rap and TAT podcast, where we get right to the gooey. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Rap and TAT the podcast. We got members of the Dallas 9 in the house. We got a lot to unpack, so we're gonna dive right into it and go around. Everybody introduce themselves.
How you doing? I'm Shakur 6 out of Dallas, Texas, repping North Dallas and Pleasant Road. I'm a boxer out of Home of Champions, and I've been a civil rights activist for a minute.
I go by Brother Show. I'm a conscious hip hop artist, out of Dallas, Texas, doing my thing, and I'm here.
I'm Stephanie Bryant, and I'm with NGAN out of Dallas, Texas. And
I'm Leilani Russell, born and raised in Dallas, originally from Beaumont. That sounded dumb, but you know what I mean. My family's from Beaumont. I've been an activist since I was 14 years old. I'm just down for my people.
I'm Melissa Perry. I'm a lifetime activist. I'm a native from Washington State, but I've lived in Dallas for over about 15 years.
R.I.P. Botham Jean and O'Shea Terry. My first question would be, what got you guys out of bed that day to go down to the stadium and protest? We'll start with my brother.
What got me up when I saw the news, Geiger, she went in there and killed him. I got in contact with everybody, and we got together and went out there.
Who put it all together? Or was it just a series of phone calls to each other?
It was like a Facebook group. Contact through Facebook.
What got you out there, Sean?
Man, I usually don't protest in that fashion, but, Conrad hit me up. He said it was some cash protesting down there, and, I wanted to do something. I was frustrated, so, I didn't really know what to do, so I just did that.
I had seen the news, and I'd been out there for other things like that, but I had actually gone out with the silent protest when I ran into Leilani, and I was not gonna be silent through that.
What got me out of bed that morning and made me want to do something is, why not? It's something that needed to be done. It's something that while Botham Jean made national news, O'Shea Terry got no media coverage. And the reason that we went to Arlington, it actually started with my sister Melissa. What made us get up that morning and say this is something that we have to do? I wasn't going to the protest that day. I've been protesting, I've been shutting stuff down. All week we had been doing stuff, and I had to work that day. And I was supposed to have a blood transfusion. So I wasn't even supposed to be there, but he was like, oh, I'm not going. And so I was like, man, I'll never leave my people by themselves. I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and go, whatever, I'll be there. And I drove to Melissa's house. We all met up. We got dropped off. We met up with Daryl and Shot later, and we saw the silent protest going on. While it's good to have things like that are peaceful, what gets people's attention is doing a little bit more.
What got me out there in the first place was I wake up because of God every single day. And because I'm blessed to be able to do that, and others as well. If I was in my own home and someone came into my place and murdered me, I would want everyone out there to be just as outraged. So I knew about the silent protests and decided to organize people in the community who I knew were going to see it through and make the city wake up to O'Shea Terry and voice their concern and outrage about O'Shea Terry just the same as Botham, and actually get a reaction and get civil disobedience, which is something that our country's founded on, in the manner that This country has done it for over hundreds of years, centuries. And while the silent protest was going on, there were others like Stephanie and her husband who decided to join us in our protests. That started out pretty much really peaceful. And one thing led to another, and we were unfortunately arrested longer than a murderer and put in jail on a $10, bond, pretty much, $100 total. And now we're being held on kind of like an unofficial probation when there's people beating up black women in Deep Ellum and not getting any of that type of treatment and
We're
walking
gonna
away
touch
with
on that.
nothing.
So you guys stayed in jail longer, I won't even say her name, than she did.
Right.
Okay, so the night you get locked up, as general public, when you hear somebody, protesters went to jail, what did they do?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm just being honest. What did they do? What went right, in y'all's opinion, that day?
We got the national attention.
He made national news.
People who did not know about O'Shea Terry knew now.
Yes.
know.
If people didn't know about Botham, they know now.
Definitely.
And if they didn't think it was that serious, they know now. If the state of Texas didn't know that this was serious,
They know.
they know now. If St. Lucia didn't think that we were serious, they know now.
We now know the officer that killed O'Shea Terry, because before they wouldn't even release the officer's name.
Right.
Things like that to let us even know anything that happened that day. We knew nothing. If it wasn't for us going out that day, even if all we would have walked away with was getting the people at the Cowboy Stadium to know who O'Shea Terry was, we walked away with something.
So now you're feeling the pinch of what usually law enforcement does or the far right does. They start to smear the victim. Like I've heard about weed in Botham's apartment. I wouldn't know that unless that came out like on some news media. And it sounds like they're smearing you guys in with that. How do you feel? Is that something you guys can overcome, or is it just another hassle? You've been through it before. As lifelong activists and new activists, is this something that you're prepared for?
I mean, we've been black in America all of our lives, so this is not a new feeling for us. We're at a point where the bullets, the feet, the punches we're immune to it at this point, and it's time for us to stand up for ourselves. The same way you teach your children to stand up for themselves when they're being bullied and attacked in schools. We're doing it in the best way that we know how. We are not the end-all tell-all. So I think that our names can't be smeared any more than what we've grown up our whole lives being in this skin. But we're not the end-all tell-all. So we're by all means not an organization. We're not a terrorist group. We're not an extremist group. We're not trying to hurt anybody, regardless of what color you are and whether or not you hate us or not. But we are going to defend ourselves. Unfortunately, there are other groups out there that are the end-all tell-all, and we are just the ultimatum. So we're here to tell you, if you don't get down with these judicial laws and start doing things in favor of all people, and specifically our community, then we're going to be out here and we're going to keep doing this because we were born to do this. You can't smear our names more than we allow you to, because we're going to stand up for ourselves. We are not suicidal. You can try to jail us and do other things, but the activists in us and the public is only going to be the activists in us in jail. So either way it goes, this is just who we're going to be.
You can kill the revolutionary, but you'll never kill the revolution. That's something that won't happen. I don't care what goes on. Our spirits are not going to be dead. That's one thing my father always taught me, was that there's a difference between being physically in prison and to be in prison in your mind.
When we were in jail, we all have careers and jobs, like real careers. Most of us degrees, and we're upstanding citizens. And our jobs didn't have to keep us employed. They could have found loopholes and ways to discredit us and separate themselves from us just because of what we stand up for. So there's a way for you to be a part of this and recognize who you're really working for, because I personally wouldn't want to work for a company who didn't honor me as a human being or my people or what I believed in. So just like she was saying about Stephanie being an ally, if there are people that don't look like us who want to figure out a way to support us, that's how. When people are getting, terminated from their job because their hair is locked, or because they come to work looking a certain type of way, or they have a background. Stand up for those people, because that will show that you're in solidarity and you're not the typical racist, prejudiced person that America is painted a portrait as. Because there are allies like Stephanie out with us all the time, and people always asking what they can do, and even employers asking what they can do so that they can support. That's a way for you to stay in a lane without having to go out on these streets and put your life on the line like we do.
So for the person sitting home on the couch, and they want to, you know, get active in something that they believe in, do you offer a warning? You could lose your job, because like you were saying, you're going to find out who's standing with you pretty quick.
Yeah, like anytime that we have put out any type of invitation, it goes without being said that you could end up in jail, you could die. You could be ran over by the police. Some of us have been hit by police in protests before. You can go to jail. By example, anytime you go to work for somebody, it's just like going to work. Like for some of us, this is a job. Mm-hmm. You do your research on the company before you go, don't you? So you know that this group is not the kumbaya. This is the ultimatum. And we're not the end-all tell-all. So if you come with guns and do all that, we're going to say, bam, we got another group for you and get you to the right people. We'll put you in the right hands. We'll get you to the right place, but we stay in our lane, and we definitely make it known that anything could happen. But that's anybody. You're going to be in your own living room and you could die.
People, it's for you to even come out there and think that, you know, oh, it's gonna be fun. That is crazy. I mean, it is great to be with your people and to stand, but there's a purpose behind it. When she said people have been hit, I've been hit by a police car. My daughter, I laughed because my daughter looked like, yes, ma'am, that's you. But I honestly believe that this is our purpose, and I tell people every day, all day. You believe in God, you believe in something, correct? One thing that I have noticed about all of us is that we believe that there is a date stamped on our life for us to die. We don't know how it's going to happen, but each and every last one of us know that we're going to die someday. I'd rather die standing up for something I believe in versus me sitting scared and living every day as if I'm afraid to die. Regardless of anything, it's going to happen. You might as well stand up for something. You might as well die with a purpose. So I'm not saying that you're going to get killed out there. I'm not saying that everything is going to none of that stuff. And then honestly, we're better in numbers. When it's a lot of numbers of us, when we're together, we've done actions where the news is still watching and stuff, and nothing has happened to us. We're better. We're better when we stand together. You know, they try to separate us and things like that, and they make sure their fear is so strong that they called Arlington PD and Fort Worth PD to come and get us. You would literally think it was hundreds of us, how many officers were out there. You would think that they were arresting everybody at the Cowboys Stadium.
It was just 9 of y'all.
And it was 10 of us. One of us was going to get some drink.
Obey your thirst. White guy beats black woman like a man on video.
What a good.
Gets a misdemeanor charge. What kind of laws, what needs to be done with some of the laws that are clearly, if you go beat up a white woman on camera, we getting the book thrown at us.
And that happened that Friday before.
Getting booked on this.
So it ain't really the law though. Well, for me, it's the culture. You know what I'm saying? It's like before the law, like the law don't enforce itself. So, but like people enforce what they feel like is their authority. So the old boy clearly felt like he had the authority to do what he did, and he felt so comfortable not to, hit which he shouldn't put his hands on her, period, but he hit her so many times, you know what I'm saying? He felt very comfortable, very in his place. So my thing, like, which is even deeper than the laws that could be put in place, you know what I'm saying, is who's enforcing the laws? Who made this decision to let bro out on a $1,500 bond, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't a law decision, that was somebody's personal choice. You dig? And so I think that just speaks to a culture that's in America.
Is there like a disconnect between? I mean, it would be great to have our football players out there, you know, some to shed some light. But it seems like everybody's on their square about, no, that's not my fight.
I think where T.I. was coming from was that if you're going to claim to be a real nigga, then let's be a real nigga for stuff that matters. Because we're out here telling stories maybe in your lyrics, and that's okay too. If you're an artist, you can entertain and act and be somebody different. That's okay. But don't be out here blowing wolf tickets. Just like if you are a gangsta, someone's gonna pull your card. And this is somebody pulling your card in your community. So as a community, you want us to support you and your music and your platform, then you need to support us in the community. Because I will tell you one thing, find 1-2 artists or Colin Kaepernick that will stand up for the right thing, and you're gonna get all of us standing behind you. And if you don't, just like we wasn't messing with you now, we'll continue not to mess with you. We're probably not going to mess with you even further if you put out a statement. So if you're scared and you don't want to say something, I respect that. And you have a profession and a job. So for football players and athletes who can't say anything because they have families to take care of, I totally understand that. But what you don't want to do is you want to be very careful on the commentary and things that you say about those of us who are, and the help and assistance and platforms that we're asking and resources we're asking from you, because you can definitely have us turn our backs. So I feel like T.I. was legit in what he was saying. If you're going to claim to be real, this, that, and the other, then be real. If not, then stop claiming to be as real as you say you are and capping and shooting and doing all these things allegedly to one another in the community, but you're not real enough to go do something to somebody that hurts us. So if you're going to go shoot a fellow artist or shoot up somebody's house or go rob a bank and get put in jail anyway or die, why don't you go out and do something that's worth it? Because that's dumb to kill somebody in your own community. Do it for a cause.
We over at the candy shop at the Rapping TAT Podcast.
It's your girl India Monet. You're tuned in to Rapping TAT Podcast.
We at the candy shop at Rapping TAT Podcast.
Hey man, say man, it's your boy MC the Great man. We on Rapping TAT Podcast.
It's Lady Cushion. We been rapping popping at the Rapping TAT Podcast.
Hey, what's happening? This is Dirty Low. Welcome to Rapping TAT Podcast.
We gon' rap. Rapping TAT Podcast.
Back, Rapping TAT Podcast, we'll get back into it. So, trending topics. Trump got his money for the wall.
I feel that's a big old baby who threw a temper tantrum and got his way.
Got his way.
I feel like that wall's coming down so they can put it up all day, every day. But the people that are on the other side of that wall have always been more efficient, more well-rounded and grouped together, that they're already stealing pieces from it. So at this point, you're going to put it up and it's going to come right back down. So why we're wasting resources and time on it, I have no idea. And shame on all the people that elected him, because your taxes ain't looking that good this year. Because he done took out all of the lines that you would have had last year to get all your money and hit you over the head. And then did a government shutdown on you and prevented you from getting your checks. So at this point, it's a big okie doke, and we'll see what happens in the next few years. But the beauty about politics is we do have the power to turn things around. Now, if we re-elect him again, then again, it's going to be more so shame on those who have elected him.
Jussie Smollett from Empire, all charges dropped. Did we kind of jump the gun on the public smearing of this brother? Do you think?
I think he received so much backlash, not because of him, allegedly making this stuff up, but I think it's because he labeled himself as the gay Tupac, and also that he tried to basically make the civil rights struggle less than the gay rights struggle, you know what I'm saying? So I think those two things what made him catch so much slack. But white people make stuff up on black people all the time, whether if it's from rape or just you being in your own house and they just don't want you to be there and they call you for whatever, you know what I'm saying, calling you for whatever. But so like him calling and making up making up a false report, that's not an issue. I don't think that's why it got as big, but if he kept too much and all that stuff out of it.
A white man did do that, and they said boys will be boys.
Straight up.
We can't do the same stuff they do, first of all.
Straight
And
up.
second of all, Chicago been covering stuff up since the beginning of time. I mean, don't we have 16 shots in the cover up? Just saying, like, they've been doing this. Every police department is good at being transparent, as She Brown used to love to say. But yeah, you know, half the reports don't come out, half the story only comes out. We really don't know what's going on. I said, look, Juan McDonald, 16 shots in the cover-up. They covered it up. Came out that that boy was murdered. All of that stuff. So I never jumped on the bandwagon to bash him. Not once did I make a post about it. Not once did I say that. Not once did I jump on any part of that, because
There are bigger things to worry about.
Much bigger things to be worried about. There's people losing their lives, and we worried about somebody that make millions of dollars, whatever happened. Like, I'm not gonna say that it didn't happen. I'm not gonna say that it did. Well, I mean, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I love Jussie Smollett. I love him as a black man, and if he's standing on that did happen to him, then we need to protect him. You know what I'm saying? There needs to be something for him. But regardless of
Let's dig
anything,
into that. The bigger question is, they separate us from our heroes, or they put Michael Jordan was a gambler and a womanizer. The Bill Cosby whole thing, R. Kelly whole thing, like Michael Jackson. Each of our heroes have like this check or smear, and even other black people are buying into that. Oh, she did that. He did that. Do you think it's a kind of a built-in with fame, or is there something else going on?
I do believe that there needs to be accountability. I'm gonna say that first, and I'm always stand behind you when it comes to other people. But if you are toxic for the black community, I don't give a damn whether you as black as this tablecloth. You will get X. It is what it is. All kinfolk are not kinfolk, and I'm okay with letting you go. Because that Uncle Ray Ray that people talk about, don't bring your kids around, no, fuck that. Uncle Ray Ray needs to be let out the family. The kids need to be able to run around free, and Uncle Ray Ray needs to go. It is what it is. So as far as R. Kelly go, I'm not with that. I don't stand with it. I'm not listening to no music. I don't buy into none of that. If you are toxic for the black woman, the black family, if you are hurting black women, that's it. That's it, that's all. You don't get to come against the black community and then I'm still supporting you. It's not how it works. There's a mental thing going on. I believe in mental abuse. I know mental abuse is even stronger to me than physical abuse, because you can see physical abuse. Mental abuse, you can sit up there and pretend that it's okay. If something wrong, that man need help, but he also need to go to jail. He need to be under the prison. I don't believe in supporting R. Kelly. I don't. I believe that the way they came about that whole Bill Cosby situation was a little messed up. I think that I'm not gonna say
waited all these years
to come out there and jump on that. R. Kelly still got stuff going on. Bill Cosby was out here trying to buy some stuff up, and he like 1,200 years old. I don't even think he can see in both eyes. You know, he's old. And
so now let's flip it. Cardi B came out and said she drug and robbed men, which has that same Bill Cosby, thing going on.
I think that we as a people have to learn and get back to discretion. And also, we all have a past, so we should not be quick to judge, even in R. Kelly's situation. But when the facts are there and you're admitting to something, you got to be accountable for it now. So now, if the police do come get Bodak Yellow over here, then she needs to be gangsta enough now, since you're a real nigga now, to serve your time. Because if you have charges placed against you, then do that. And just like she said, she had to do what she had to do for whatever reason. And I'm not knocking anybody's hustle, and I'm not saying that anyone is better than anyone. But now you done put yourself out there, you got to be able to do the time. if you're like Michael Jackson, all of that is alleged because all of his accusers came back and said, oh, they lied. And now that he's dead and Oprah's knocking at the door, now they want to ruck up stuff again. R. Kelly basically admitted in plenty of interviews that he's doing something wrong or that he's psychologically not right when he answered his interview questions very, sketchy. Defensively, and then also saying, well, what do you define as,
What's young?
What's young? Like, what do you mean what's young? That means you did it.
There are older men that like younger
Get a
women.
shirt that says I did it, or be like O.J. Simpson, if I would have did this.
This how I would have done it.
This is why you go to jail, and then you embarrass us because we're standing up for you. Because as a kid, I still listened to R. Kelly and really didn't care because we've all dated people that have probably been a little bit too old for us or too young, whatever, in high school, whatever it is. But again, your discretion doesn't allow you to become somebody of power or of prestige and then turn around and tell on yourself. You're dumb. So at this point, Cardi can get it. Hell, Beyonce could get it. Jay-Z can get it. It is what it is.
And
should have saved your money because you're going to need a good attorney.
Look, my thing is like, as far as like that, it's just, it's interesting how blatant that Me Too movement is. It's like, it's like very vicious, it's very malicious, you know what I'm saying? And it's just how can people come years later after something. And I'm not finna put anything past anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not you touching kids, bro. Like I'm not with that in any shape, form, or fashion. My thing is this: if you gon' like, they making us focus, like they driving your attention and making you focus on individuals when it's a whole culture of pedophilia, especially and sexual abuse in the entertainment industry. But they not talking about that, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole study, a whole focus that we could be focused on and investigating, and not just getting a handful of people, but you can be getting whole groups, whole clusters and community of rich, elite people who's touching on kids, who's to be one of them, Oprah Winfrey, a lot of these, anyway, yes, yes.
It needs to start with
Yes.
it, and we need to continue to go. We need to get these people in our family. All of it.
That's
Stop that.
in our family.
Yeah, stop
All
that.
that.
It's fame. No, fuck a fame.
If it's a white person and they get convicted, then R. Kelly can be convicted. But if you're not going to convict a white person for doing it or a Supreme Court justice from doing it, then you're not going to convict R. Kelly. Even though it's the right thing to do. It goes back to the judicial system that is for privileged people.
Yeah.
It is only okay when it's a white person doing it, but it's not okay when it's us.
The United States government is also into human trafficking and the sex trade and organ trafficking. So we understand that there is lots of children missing in America, and they're not going to speak on this, but this is definitely entwined in the same thing that we're talking about pedophilia and sexual abuse in the entertainment world and the elite cultures in the society. So if we're not gonna point the finger at all of them, you know what I'm saying, then don't tell me who I need to point my finger at, especially if we know that television program, just like if you wrote a book and you wrote a book about your heroes, you know what I'm saying, if you read that, it's going to be different from a book that you read from your enemy about your heroes. You dig? We reading our enemy's book, you know what I'm saying? We tuning into our enemy's programming, or somebody don't have our best interests, or people who look like us or represent us in whatever way best interests at mind. So, but if we wrote our own book, if we had our own media stations, outlets, and we tuned into those instead of these right-wing companies that we know don't have our best interests in mind, then we would have a different perspective on ourselves and our outlook on life. And then we, wrong is wrong, but they wouldn't be forcing us and directing our energy in who we say is wrong and concentrate that onto when it's a lot of people in this motherfucker.
We'll take a quick break. Back in a minute.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Dirty Low. I just got through doing my first podcast. As you can see, it's Rap and Tat podcast with my brother and my niece. I got my little nephew in here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put the link in below, and then y'all come and follow us, and then you tell me how you like it. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay on your grind. We bam.
It's the podcast.
So you can find me on IG, Shakur6. And Facebook, Malcolm Shakur 6.
Hey man, you can find me at DevontaeDPeters.org, you know what I'm saying? Support the campaign. I'm also on Instagram at Devontae D3Peters, or you can follow my music at Brother Shaw, you know what I'm saying? And I'm everywhere, every streaming platform. Just dropped the album 2 days ago, Blood in My Eye. Catch that everywhere we did.
You can find me on IG, Fist in the Air, Don't Care, or on Facebook, Stephanie Murray.
I'm on Facebook at Lele Marie, that's LELE space Marie, and on IG, I'm loving_this_life1.
I'm Melissa Perry on Facebook. You will have to send me a private message for me to approve you. I am MSMADENHEAVEN on Instagram, and you're probably not going to get added to that unless you send me a message there too.
It's your girl Jonique. You can follow me on Instagram at I am 3_ because I'm extra Jonique, and follow me on Rappin' Tap Podcast.
Follow us on YouTube, Rappin' Tap Podcast, and Instagram at Rappin' Tap Podcast. Everything Rappin' Tap Podcast for more.
You can actually, if you go to any one of our Instagrams or Facebooks, the petition and the GoFundMe will be there. But if you go to GoFundMe, you can just look up Dallas 9, and if you go to colorofchange.org, it's also the same thing, Dallas 9. Please sign our petition. We're asking for anything. Even if you can just share it, it's fine with us. But we're asking everybody to sign our petition and do whatever you can to give. We're trying to be able to make this for when we go to trial, and if we end up not needing it, the money will be going to those who are currently in jail behind petty crimes that cannot afford to get out. We will be bonding people out if we do not need this money for our trial.
And if we do go to trial, we need everyone's support, just like you guys created Dallas 9. Dallas 9 is not a group. We did not intend to become a group. So we ask for that same energy. Keep that same energy when we go to trial, because if we have to do more time than a murderer, this city's definitely going to hear, at least me. You gonna hear me.
No, you're gonna hear all of us, because they would like to give us up to 6 months, and to give us 6 months in jail is some bullshit. So when we go to court, we need you guys to flood the courtroom. It needs to be flooded. This petition needs to be flooded. We only got 100 and some odd signatures. It should be much more. This made national news. And we're going to continue to get out there. We're going to continue to defend our people. We're just asking for our people to stand behind us in this.
Like, share, comment, and stay woke, y'all.
It's the podcast.